Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a tutorial on how to make this really cute Valentine's Day door hanger from Newfound Applique. Hi, my name is Mary, and if this is the first time that we're meeting, welcome to my channel. I absolutely love crafting. It's a great passion of mine, and I love teaching others how fun and easy it can be. Let's go over the supplies that we're going to need for today's project. Okay, so the supplies that we are going to be needing for today, we are using the 5x7 hoop size. I'm going to be using tearaway stabilizer. You can also use water soluble stabilizer if you do not have tearaway. I have 4 pieces of pre-cut Valentine's Day fabric that are 6 inches by 8 inches. You need 2 of each. And then also a 6x8 piece of white felt for each letter. The letters are spelled L-O-V-E, and I use the felt to put in between the fabric and the stabilizer to give the letters some stability because we are going to be hanging this on a door. I also am using a fine glitter gel faux leather sheet. Now this product you can't find in a normal box store, but I do sell it on my Sewing for Madison Etsy shop, and I absolutely love to work with this fabric in my embroidery machine. It's a fine glitter sheet which is very thin, and then it has a gel overlay, which means when you touch it, it's nice and smooth, it doesn't feel like sandpaper, and it makes your projects really pop if you're trying to add some glitter and some glam to them. Besides your fabric choices and your applique pieces, you're going to need some ribbon. Now you can use a thinner ribbon if you want. I'm going to be using this 1-inch wide ribbon. You need at least a 10-inch long piece for the top of the loop, and then 3 4-inch pieces that will connect each letter together. You'll also need some straight pins and some scissors. You need scissors for your fabric, scissors for your applique, and then if you use different scissors for your faux leather products, you'll need those as well. I just use an old pair of sewing scissors that have dulled out a little bit, so I'm not using fabric scissors on my faux leather. So we are ready to head over to the machine. I've went ahead and I've hooped my tearaway stabilizer, and I have my design loaded in my machine. Now, since the letters all kind of flow the same, what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to do step by step for the letter L, and then I'm going to start the next letter, which would be O, show you how that connects to the L, and then show you the finished product at the end. Each letter basically stitches out the exact same, so you'll get the hang of it once you start this project. Let's head over to the machine and get started. Okay, our first stitch here is going to be our placement stitch for our ribbon. Okay, we're going to remove our hoop. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention in our supply list is you're going to need tape, and that's to tape your ribbon down. Now I want you to notice that the ribbon placements are off center. So they are not exactly centered on the hoop, and that's because we're making the letter L. So don't let that freak you out. They are supposed to be like that. Now, what I like to do is make our loop and do kind of a crisscross pattern here. So your opening should be at that top of the T. I have a little bit of string sticking up here I'm going to trim off. Your opening should be at the top. And I know it's hard to see on the camera. I'm going to point where my scissors are. So the top of the thread is right here where these two ribbons come together, and then you kind of just want to make a nice little overlap there and tape it down. I'm going to use a longer piece of tape at the top here to tape this excess down because I don't want to catch that every single time I pull this in and out of the hoop. So I just like to tape mine down like that. Now your bottom piece, that's going to go straight on. So I go just a little bit past this T. And we're going to tape that down. And then I also tape it down right here so that it stays nice and in the correct space. Now we're going to go back to the machine and I'm going to reverse my step because I want the machine to tack this down. So you want to back your machine up and do that first stitch one more time. All right, now we are ready to put down our piece of felt and also our fabric piece. Now you can choose to put some straight pins in here to hold those two pieces in place. You can also use some basting spray, or you can just chance it and just lay it down and start your machine. Now we're going to do our outline stitch for our little heart that goes on here. And this is where we're going to put that gel. All right, did you guys see that I used my little handy spatula to hold this down? I never want to see your fingers in here. That's how you get needles right through your finger and have to go to the ER. We're not doing that today. So you can go to the dollar store and you can pick up these little silicone spatulas, and they work great if you need to reach in here while it's sewing to hold something down. So I highly recommend that you have this next to your machine if you're doing appliques. All right, so now we're going to remove this from the machine and we're going to trim around that heart. Okay, these are the scissors that I like to use for applique. They're just a 6-inch curve straight scissor, and it's really great. So I'm going to put a link down in the description for all of the products that I'm using today. When you're doing your applique, make sure that your hoop stays on your work surface. You never want to pick it up and start cutting because things are going to start falling out of your hoop. So just try to start on one side. You're going to pull that fabric a little bit taut while you're trimming. Try to get as close as possible without cutting into the stitches. That can be a little bit challenging at times, but just be patient and try to do the best that you can do. Okay, just like that. Now we are going to take this back to the machine, and it's going to stitch out the satin stitching along here and along here. I am going to change out my thread color because I would like to use a pink around this heart, and I'm going to use a dark pink so that it pops a little bit, not a light pink. Now we're going to go back to our workspace and we're going to add the back fabric. So for this step, you can either use basting spray, you can use your straight pins, or you can just use tape. I'm just going to use tape. Okay, now we're heading back to our machine and we're going to do our tack down stitch. Okay, now we're back to our work table and the trimming will begin. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to trim on the top here all the way around our letter, and we are going to trim on the back as well. Okay, now when you're trimming the front side here, be very careful that you don't cut your ribbons off that you sewed down. I'm going to be rotating my hoop all around for you guys while I trim this up. And just like the applique with our heart, we want to make sure that we get it as close as possible. Trying not to get my arm in your way, but with the angle of the camera, it's a little bit difficult, so bear with me. It's a little tight once you get to the corner of the heart here. Sorry, my arm is right in your way. I'm just going to cut this extra off real quick so it's out of my way, so I can see what I'm doing here with the ribbon. Okay. Maybe if I move the camera to this side, you guys can see a little bit better what I'm doing. So I'm cutting through the fabric and the felt layer here. Okay, so we got our top done. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing on the back. So I've got to remove this tape. Almost finished. Okay, all done with that. Now we're ready to head back to the machine. One thing that you can do to make your project look really nice when you can see both sides is you want to match your bobbin thread with your top thread. So on the outside of the L, I'm going to use red. So I'm going to put red bobbin thread in there, and it's going to make it look really, really nice and professional. step on this is going to be the outsides of that heart. And remember, we use that dark pink here, so switch your bobbin color out to that color that you're doing on the heart. Also, a little trick when you are changing out your threads, always pull your thread out from the bottom of your machine. Never pull it backwards through your machine. That can actually create problems and break things. So you always want to pull it from the needle side through. All right, last step, here we go. Okay, our next steps is going to be to remove our L from the hoop. And remember, we taped that ribbon down, so you want to pull that up first. Be careful when you're taking your tape off your ribbon so that you don't rip any of your ribbon. And then just pull your design out of your hoop. So here is our finished L. I've got to trim my threads, but you can see on the back here, and then we have our little attachment ribbon down here at the bottom. So our next hoop is going to be a heart, which is supposed to be the O. And the way that it sits in my machine is the L will attach right here. So what you want to do is do your placement stitches for your ribbons, then grab your L and you're going to tape that one down just like we taped it down early. So the end needs to go right beyond that T, and then you're going to tape it down in 2 places. Make sure that you get this in there straight, otherwise your wall hanger is going to be crooked. And I'm going to switch to using paper tape for the, it's blue painter's tape to secure this up here, because I feel like that Scotch tape is going to fray my ribbon. All right, so I've got that piece there. Grab one more piece of your ribbon and you're going to cover that on the other side. So it should look just like this. Okay, now we're going to go back to the machine and we're going to repeat those placement stitches for the ribbon. Now you're going to finish all of the rest of the same steps that we just did for the L for your heart, and then I'm going to make the other 2 letters and show you the finished project. So I have finished our wall hanging. You can see the loop we started at the top and all the different letters. This came out really, really cute. And it was a great, fun Valentine's Day project. Now again, this design is from Newfoundland applique, and I'm going to have a link down in the description. I'm also going to do a link for all the supplies that we used in today's video. So remember, if you'd like to learn more tips and tricks for machine embroidery, make sure you smash that like button and you subscribe to my channel. And until next time, happy crafting.